Hey guys, welcome back. Beamwalks Bar Talks. We're gonna hit in part 2 of our 3-part series here with Skyler tonight. I'm gonna talk about the low point in his career when he had struggled with addiction. I believe it was after he had hurt his back. Might have also come when you were powerlifting, right? Somewhere
Yeah,
along there.
that's the first back injury for sure.
Yeah. Um, Skyler's been gracious to tell us our story. We're trying to break through the stigma, guys. It's out there. It's prevalent in our career. It's prevalent in the trades. We want to break through. We want to bring the awareness to you guys, to the new guys coming in, to the guys that are currently going through it. We know you're going through it. Some of us know better than others, and we're able to see that, and some of us aren't. For instance, when you were down in Memphis, when you were my roommate, I didn't know that you were having a problem then. Pretty good at hiding it, but as time goes on, people get that way, right? You find out a way to cope by yourself because you don't want to hurt anybody else. Um, but I mean, let's get into it, Skylar. What was the what was the kickoff for you? I guess.
Well, I mean, to just be completely fair, it, early on in my life, like teenage years, I was a partier. I know a lot of us go through that, but I took it to a little bit of an extreme on a lot of stuff, and so I kind of got into that mindset early, and whether it be doing powder or whatever on the weekends and stuff like that. But then I turned 18, gotten really into bodybuilding, and I was also iron working then too. So fast forward a couple of years, got a real bad back injury, herniated two of my discs, and like was looking at back surgery, and then luckily was able to keep from doing that on account of just chiropractic stuff. But in the meantime, I was hurting so damn bad, like I was having to, get through 12 hours of work and
Yeah.
still trying to work out and stay in shape and all that. And didn't pan out quite well. Ended up getting hooked on the pain pills and stuff. Uh, so that was like when it really happened. I guess I was probably 22, maybe, whenever I got real bad on the pills. Or that's when let me put it to you this way. That's when I realized I had a problem starting. Uh, Also, I mean, there was other factors too. I mean, I've always kind of dealt with a little bit of like depression and stuff. It's just like a hereditary
Hmm.
thing, mainly
Yeah,
seasonal depression.
dude, it
Uh,
got me so hard this year.
that's terrible. There's no way I could live in Michigan. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
It,
Like the sun only shines like 5 days out of the year. Like, come on, dude. Like, there's no way.
hit. I'm gonna t- I'm gonna tell you, like, these last 2 weeks with it going up into the 60s. I think we touched 70 one day. Dude, I came home right after work. I started cleaning out my entire garage, bro. I'm like cleaning everything. I was happy and
Mhm.
upbeat. Not 2 days later, it was down in the teens again, and I was just like, all right, this sucks.
Yeah,
I can't
it's
do this.
terrible. It's terrible. But anyway, that happened, and then I ended up getting injured at work. I was working at Count's paper mill, and I had fell. Um, of course, I wasn't tied off, and
Oh,
luckily though, when I had fell, I was really messed up on pills during this time. And if it wouldn't have been for
okay.
that, it would have really been a lot worse. Uh, like
You
I
think
was just
so?
limber. Oh yeah, for sure, dude. It's almost like how like when a drunk driver gets into a wreck, like most of the time they're the ones that don't end up hurt because they're just so limber and they're all messed up.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same thing. I'd been partying for like 2 straight weeks, and when I fell, it fucked it up. But it had like cracked two of the wings that comes off of your spine, and it was pinching those nerves and stuff. And like, so then it really got bad. So not only was I on pain meds, I was also on like the like nerve pain medication and stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't care how many Roxy 30s you eat, like you're still going to feel nerve pain. You know, so ended up getting
Did it get to
into.
the point that you were like outdoing your prescription then and you were just searching?
Oh yeah, 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 for sure. Because like I was only supposed to take two in a 24-hour period. Well, dude,
Hmm.
two wasn't touching it. It just wasn't touching it. So yeah, that's how addiction gets to be pretty bad. Hurting like hell all the time, and then of course also dealing with the depression. It was almost like a double whammy, you know. So then I
Right.
just really started spiraling out of control, and then of course the depression gets worse and blah blah blah. So anyway, fast forward now till I think I was 26. 26, about to be 27. And now, you know, kids and, you know, just like being married and all that stuff during that point in my life. There was financial stresses and then work, just work in and of itself, you know, had gotten to a point of
Hmm.
monotony. And it was just it's so burnout. You know, you're tired of traveling from one place to another. Even working at
Right.
home, dude, it was hard to drag your ass out of the bed. And, you know, shit like that, man. And then it just starts impacting everything. It's just a big domino effect. So, yeah, originally it was a back injury, but there was also a lot of other things that played a role in it. So, when it comes to the mental health part, I mean, this is something that we could cover for 6 hours, you know, like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's a really deep subject. And, like, it's, of course, just like anything else, it's different for everybody. But, that's definitely something a lot of iron workers struggle with. Of course, as you know, and anybody else in the trade knows, like with the substance abuse stuff, it's hard, man. You get to hurting, you're depressed. You have to watch your kids grow up over FaceTime, you know, and that's depressing. And
Did I think it hit hard? I think it hit me when we were on the phone. So I had Marco in March, right? And then I came back for April. And then every couple weeks I'd head back home, right? And I think there was one week I was getting ready to leave. And Amanda was like, you've been here, you know, a combined 15 days for the first 5 months of his life. He doesn't even know who you are.
mhm.
And dude, that hit hard. I think when I got back down to you guys, I turned into a fucking party animal. I started drinking a lot, started getting into the powder a lot with you guys. And that's kind of when I just started disassociating with everything. And there, you can't, I mean, you're trying to put food on the table, right? You think you're doing
Mhm.
right. You think you're doing everything that you can to support your new family, right? This is my first kid, and me and my wife just got married, you know, that kind of deal. And being away is not. I mean, it's fun for a little bit. You know, you get new experiences, you meet new guys, you get to learn about their culture, about their lifestyles, about who they are as men and as iron workers. But you got basically living two lives kind of deal. You know what I mean? You have your wife back home with your baby, and then you got the guys at work and after work. So
Mhm.
yeah, dude, I that hit hard. I think it was one of the times that you and Mike kind of sat me down. You're like, you need to straighten your fucking shit out. And
Yeah, well, that was the pot calling the kettle black because we was all pretty twisted up. But you know, the turning point
yeah,
for me was October of that year. Like the building was already topped out. Like we were just doing detail stuff and kind of punch listing. And I finally realized, I'll tell you when I realized that I had a real problem is that there would be days, like I would just completely time lapse. Just they were just gone. Like people would be talking about stuff that
Yeah.
happened at work. Like I'm working with y'all, and like I would have no clue what anybody was even talking about. I'm like, what do you mean? I'd be thinking like I've been here every day. Like what do you mean? And then I get to thinking, I'm like, hell, I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
I haven't been here every day. Have I? And then I start questioning, and then I start talking to people, and they're like, yeah, dude, like you not remember? Like, and I'm like, no, I don't. I don't remember at all. And that's when I started realizing, like, holy shit, dude, this has really came to a point where it is on the verge of destroying or ending my life. So
Yeah.
I drug up, like, I think it was a week or so before Halloween that year, and I got back to the house, and I'm playing with Lakin, and
It's on the table.
like whenever I sat down with Lakin, that my kids are like what pulled me out of it for real. Um, and by then, of course, Vic's already he's around now, and just trying to fill the role that I'm supposed to fill now that I'm at home. And I didn't know how to be a father. I didn't know, you know what I mean? Because like I have another child too, but like I tried my best, but it was you can kind of know a little bit about it. I won't get too much into it, but I don't get to see her anymore. And
Yeah.
so like I never really got the chance to be a father in the first place. So like I'm having to learn now, and now I'm addicted to pills. I'm drinking my ass off, dude. Like I don't even remember how much we drank. Like
It
to the
got to the
point where
point to where
like,
we were bringing it on the job, dude.
oh yeah, I mean you had to keep the shakes out. Like I'd get so shaky, and that's just not cool. And like when you're losing 2 or 3 days out of your memory, at least twice a month. That's it's different if you get blackout drunk one night, and don't remember that night. But like it
Right.
was days, man. And like when I looked at Lakin, I was like, man, like there's no way that I could keep doing this, what I'm doing now, and him have a father, you know. So like ultimately that is what
Yeah.
pulled me out of it. But like also, I mean, I just started kind of seeing the bigger picture. I detoxed myself too. Like I never went to rehab. I never done none of that. Like I thought I was gonna die, but I ended up getting cleaned up and stuff, and felt horrible, man, horrible. And I did end up hospitalized a couple of times. And what a lot of
That
people
was in
don't
June,
see,
wasn't it?
man,
June, July.
well, there was a couple of times. And it wasn't for my heart. Like I got hospitalized because I had gotten clean, but then my body didn't know how to live clean. So
Right.
like even though like the initial detox had gone, like I had insomnia so bad, like I'd stay up for 4 or 5 days without anything. Like I'm not on meth, not on anything like that. Just couldn't sleep. And it was driving me to the point of insanity. Like suicide started crossing my mind because I'm like, dude, if I can't sleep, like I've got something's got to give, Like I was going insane. My body just felt like it was shutting down, and just anxiety and depression and like just all that stuff that kind of starts seeping in. So like learning how to live sober damn near took the better part of probably a year to a year and a half to where I finally started getting into the groove of like, all right, this is normal to feel this, you know.
Right.
And I did end up having to start doing therapy. I got on a few non-habit forming psychiatric meds, and just stuff for your depression and anxiety and like mood changes and stuff. And it was a hard road there, like because like let's back up a little bit. Like it's not all just about the back injury. I mean, like
Right.
we're saying, like when you're watching your kids grow up over FaceTime, dude, like that's depressing. And then of course some of the old timers I know would be like, well, we didn't even have that when we were coming up. We didn't get to see them at all. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, like, there's a big difference between speaking to them on the phone where you can hear them, but then
Hmm.
actively being able to see them and you still can't give them a hug. Like I feel like
Yeah, I think that
FaceTime is
hurts worse.
almost, yeah, it hurts, man. It hurts back. It's just like I can see you, man, and I just want to hug you, you know.
I
And
just want to squeeze you up so hard. Yeah, absolutely.
so like that gets really depressing, you know. And then on the job, like here's something else that like iron workers as a whole need to realize, like it's okay to be tough. Like you can be tough, but there's a big difference between being tough and being a fucking asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't know what the next man is going through, dude. Like you ain't you might think you've been through some shit, and this dude right here has lived 7 lifetimes of nightmare compared to you, you know? And like he's just barely hanging. Like you might be the one person that's kept him in there. You know what I mean? Like you might be the one person that's kept him from pulling the trigger. So like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even have to, like anybody you don't know. Like, don't be a dickhead for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta empathize. There ain't none of us out here looking for sympathy. I don't look for sympathy, but like, there's a
No.
big difference between sympathy and empathy. You know, being
Yes, there
empathetic is
is.
just simply putting yourself in their shoes and being like, what if? Like, what if me calling this dude a fucking moron because there was just something that he hadn't been taught yet or whatever, something stupid about the job that could easily be fixed. And I call him a fucking moron and tell him to go get a laborer's book or whatever, just trying to insult him. And
Yeah.
it would be, that could be the difference between life and death, because it's just pushing people over
Yep.
the edge. So, like, I think people as a whole need to really understand that. Like, there's a big difference between being tough and being an asshole. So that's a big contributing factor in the trades. We've really
Oh,
normalized just raising hell and cussing everybody, and like it kind of sucks, dude. Because like even the toughest of the tough break down.
yeah. Yeah, they do. I mean, they'll never admit it, right? But sometimes they just need a good cry, dude. And men cry, like believe it or not. And against popular opinion, where tough guys just don't cry, men cry. That's it. The other day I was getting my daughter dressed, and we were getting ready to go on a date, and I looked at her, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna walk you down the aisle one day, and I started crying right there in the living room. Like, I know I'm not the toughest looking. I know I'm not the toughest, but dude, if I need to, I'll step up. And it's one of those things, like, you never know, like you said, you never know what kind of days another guy's having. And I mean, for us, good morning fucker was how we got through. And we knew like everything was all right. You know what I mean? But for the next guy, maybe it's just good morning or hey, what's up? You know what I mean? So it's rough,
Yeah,
dude. It meant
kind of
that
read the
the
room.
for sure, for sure, social cues are a huge thing, and it's some people just. I mean, some people just don't have it, right? And the ones that do should probably say something. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, it wasn't the right time for that joke, or hey, it looks like he's going through something. Let's lay off, whatever the case is. But I mean, like it is with life, we're all brothers and sisters out there in ironwork. So with the razzing and the harassment comes the love and the tenderness to be a shoulder, be a help, be a phone call, even if it's just a phone call. Shoot him text. It's for anybody listening tonight. Like at any point, if somebody pops into your head that you might have some sort of thought or you think about, just shoot him a text. It it could honestly save somebody's life. It's that simple. Like
Yeah, and
it,
I
it
mean,
could
there's
keep
also
them
shit
from.
that's not easy in that
No,
scenario that
it's
you're
not.
talking about. Like if you've got to say something, sometimes it's going to be some shit that they are not going to want to hear.
Yeah,
But and that's the most, in my opinion, that's the most critical, like delicate situation to handle.
yes.
Because like they're already on the edge, and you're about to say something about what's the one thing that has been holding them together, but it's the negative thing, and it's also killing them. You know, and that's the screwed up part right there, because it's like, dude, you realize like this is the only thing that's kept me here, you know? And you're like,
Yep.
yeah, but it
Hairpin
doesn't have
trigger.
to be. Doesn't have to be. You know, and not
Yeah.
everybody can do like I did. Like I just decided not quit cold turkey, you know, or some people may need to go to rehab. Some people, you know, and like some kind of going back to read the room. Like you got to know who you're talking to. You got to give a shit enough to be able
Yeah.
to know the person that you're around, you know what I'm saying? And like just picking up on the minor details, and it's a very deep subject. So like I still encourage, kind of like our last video, I encourage people, like if you're out of town, use BetterHelp, man. Like just talk to somebody who is trained to be able to get you through those mental barriers, you know. Um, a lot of people too, like I bet, especially once we get more of a following, if anybody hears this, there's gonna be a lot of people that will hit the comments and be like, "Well, I tried this depression medication and it made it worse, and you know, like I was getting really bad side effects, and you know, whatever." Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's the risk that you are still gonna have. Like everything has a risk, and that's the
Hmm.
risk that you take with that. You know, like psychiatric meds are pretty delicate, and that's why they start them at such low doses. You know, and
The human brain
working
is
with that.
delicate.
So like when you're working on like chemical imbalances and addiction and like everything that comes along with it, chances are you're probably not gonna find. I pray it happens, but you're probably not gonna find the right medication on the first try. It took me
Right.
3 years. It took me 3 years of trying different cocktails and medications and stuff, and then getting pissed off and quitting. Just quit all of it. Like fuck it, I don't need it no more. It ain't doing nothing anyway. You know, and then not listening to the doctor, and then spiraling again, and almost
Yeah.
going back into addiction, and then like then going back. Like that's not the way to handle it. You know, it's like once you get to the point of like where you know you need help, that's the beginning of the road, buddy. That's where your journey starts at. So like people need to understand it's not an overnight fix. Like most of the time you got to use a lot of these meds and stuff like 2 to 3 weeks before you really know what it's going to do. Like it
Yeah.
takes a while to get in there. And like I said, it took me 3 years. So like anybody hitting the comments, it's like, well, it just, you know, it was a bad experience. It was this, it was that. Well, at least now you're trying versus before you were just, you thought you were trying, but it was just all the wrong things, man. Like you were doing
Yeah.
everything to bring you into the grave at that point. And like, at least now you know, like you're being monitored. You've got a therapist, you've got a doctor that is controlling your dosages, and like these aren't drugs that'll get you high. So like there's no point in trying to even consider that. You know what I mean? Like any kind of non-habit forming, like it's not going to get you high. It just levels you out. And that's a hard thing. It was a hard thing for me because I'd lived so long with different symptoms of depression and anxiety and just piled on from just what life and ironwork and everything else had thrown at me. And that eventually I couldn't hide it anymore, you know what I mean? But I'd gotten used to that. I realized how I realized just how off my rocker I was. And then once
Yeah.
my brain started, like with this, I'll just go ahead and say it on here. I don't care. I'm on Lamictal, and it's like a mood stabilizer.
Okay.
And it was weird when I first started taking it, man. I was not impressed
How
because,
long was it before you actually like started feeling like it was doing what you needed it to?
I mean,
Weeks, months?
I would say within 2 weeks of that one, I was like starting to think more clearly, a little bit more level headed. I didn't go from super just overly ecstatic about things to like just fucking just take me out, you know? It was more consistency, it was more, and it freaked me out, dude. Like a lot of people aren't gonna get that, but the ones that are listening will, because like you just get used to that that instability is almost like a drug in a way. And when you walk away from that, even though it's destroying you and you hate it, it's still the only thing that you know. So like when I started taking it, I could tell after the first dose that something was like I was nervous, dude. And
Yeah.
and I'd get like real dizzy for like the first couple of days, about an hour or two after I would take it. But that's just your brain starting to fire up again and kind of start working itself out. And so 2 weeks in, I can't even remember what happened. Something happened. It wasn't like crazy, but it would have normally been something that would have royally pissed me off. And I just brushed it off, and then everything was just good. You know what I mean? And there's been some times since where it's like I've been around people doing the drugs that I used to do, like I loved, and it even helped me there too, because like now I'm level headed. Now I feel like I'm getting what I need healthily for the first time for sure in my adult life. My mouth didn't water when I seen the baggie. You know, like my nose didn't start running. You know,
Right.
I didn't get that cold chill run down my spine I'm like, man, I just need one. That's all I want. I just need one.
Yeah, right.
And that that's when it kind of opened my eyes up to like something's working, something's good, something good's happening. And it's brought me to a point now where like I want this to get out to people so I can help them with my experience, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like
That's
for
I mean that's what
anybody
it's
out
about, right?
there.
Keeping our brothers and sisters healthy. What with I'm sorry, what was the medication that you said?
I'm on Lamictal.
Lumictal. So with like doing the medicine and like trying to figure out if this is one of those things that works, did you do any sort of like journaling in like
Oh yeah, yeah.
trying to get
You
your headspace right, or was it something that you could really tell? So like in my mind, I'm thinking um it's not something that you would necessarily notice unless somebody else was like, hey, you seem happier, or they, dude, that would piss you off any other day of the week. You know what I mean? That kind of deal. Like, was there some sort of journaling that you did with this, or did you really feel the effects of the medicine that was helping you out?
well, of course, it's the effects of the medicine with something like that isn't going to be like snorting a Roxy 30, you know.
Right, right.
But I mean, it's some of them are more noticeable than others, you know. See, that one's a mood stabilizer, so it wasn't that I was like super level headed after the first dose. And it wasn't, and it's also helped my depression, of course, because like when your mood changes that much, that fast over anything, like it really screws with you, you know. And it got to where it was at work. It got to where it was at home. It was driving down the road. It was walking through the gas station. It was, then you start getting manic, and it just grows and grows and grows when it's untreated and it just gets terrible. But there is a story about that I would be willing to share, but I've got to talk to somebody first to make sure that they would be okay with it. And if they are, then third video, I'll kind of give that little story. Um, I just don't want to release anything and it, be a problem. But like as far as it goes with the medicine, yeah, there was journaling. Like like the doctors and therapists and stuff that I was having, like they told me to journal. And like
Right.
anybody that's good at their job helping you with something like that, they're gonna tell you that, you know, because like they've already got a record of your problems that you're dealing with now. Like that's when you're in there talking to them or whatever, they're documenting all that, and then you can compare. Like when you're taking your
Yeah, you
own
can
journey,
see a trend.
you got to be diligent about it. I mean, it's not easy to sit down and just be like, oh, fuck, like what I write in this damn book. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
felt uh pissed off at this time because of this, or I felt anxious because I had to go around people or whatever. Whatever your journal is, like you definitely need to
I
though.
feel like
It's
that would help you
necessary.
out mentally, right? So then it would kind of show a trend of who you are becoming and that you are actually are helping yourself. I feel like it's a motivational thing.
Well, the biggest
I journaled for
difference
a
with
little
that
bit, but
though, like the journaling does help, and I agree with you because like I've done it in the past, but journaling because you're trying to level yourself out while getting treatment, it is different than just trying to get your emotions out on paper. Like it's
oh,
just
for
basically a
sure.
science experiment, you know what I mean? Like they've got what you're dealing with, so you got like a hypothesis and like all that stuff. So like,
Yeah.
you know, for me though, I would feel it when I woke up. Like when it started working, because for a long time I woke up in the mornings and I was like, that was if I was even sleeping. If I get a couple hours of sleep, I wake up and I'm just like, fuck, I woke up again. World would be better off if I didn't. And then you start
Yeah.
waking up and you're like, it gets small things too. Like you wake up and you're like, oh, I feel like having a cup of coffee, you know, or a Red Bull. Like you're excited, like, fuck, I need to hurry up, get ready, and get to the truck so I can go get a Red Bull before work, you know? And like,
Yep.
even though, yeah, we're cripplingly addicted to those, it's, it's definitely something to look at as a positive when you come from some shit like we've been in, and a lot of people in the trade. That's when I started really noticing differences. Is like I would wake up and it was just simply everything just looked more positive, you
Yeah.
know? I could trust myself more. Because like I would put myself into situations where like, even with running work, that was a big one, dude. When I
Hmm.
first started running work, I was 23, 22, 23.
That's a big stress, dude.
I mean, it was for sure. And like, it wasn't like little small outfits either. Like I was working for Aristio at the Toyota Mazda down in Madison, Alabama. And a buddy of mine, I'm not going to
Okay.
say last name, but Bob, me and him hit it off good. He liked the way I worked. I'd already worked for him as a connector down in Tupelo, Mississippi on that Toyota. So I ended up getting set up as a foreman and, everything was going good, moving up the ladder. And then the stresses started hitting. And then I went to the next job, and of course my addiction's getting worse and like all this shit's getting worse. And then it gets to the point where you can't keep up with your job. and you've moved up. I moved all the way up to a superintendent level, not for Aristio, but over the course of my like supervision roles.
Hmm.
And I mean, I had just gotten to where like it was nearly impossible for me to even drag my ass into work, much less tell 60 guys what they would need to go do. And like
Yeah.
having to know when the trucks are coming, when these picks need to be set, when the crane needs to be moved, where it needs to be moved, maintenance on the equipment, blah blah blah. And on top of that, their pay, making sure their time is done correctly and making sure all this stuff. Dude, I just got to where I just couldn't do it anymore. And it was affecting every aspect of my life. So
Yeah.
anybody doing it, I mean, you really need to be careful, man, because it can make you go backwards a lot faster than you went forwards.
Yeah, that's tough. Especially, I mean, they're starting to throw kids in foreman positions now. Like I got second and third year apprentices that are pushing crews, detail or raising ink for that matter. Um, I not that I've come across it, but I've heard about it. And some of these old heads just they don't adjust very well. So I
No,
can't imagine like having the stress of now you're in a position of power. I wouldn't say power. Now you're in a position of leadership, right? Now you're in a
no.
position of leadership. You're either still in punk school or just came out of punk school. So not only do you want to continue to make a name for yourself, but you want to continue to be a leader, a hard worker, and try and earn the respect of all the guys in your crew. And I mean, that's a lot to put on somebody, just fresh out of school or in their third or fourth year, regardless of if they can handle it.
Mm.
So that's in addition to whatever else they have going at home. So I can see why, you know, um, per the numbers, I can see why, you know, 15% of the construction trades have substance abuse problems, and you got another 12% that have alcoholism. It's out there, and you can see it, and it's prevalent, but
I'm
it's
not gonna
it's
lie to
easy to
you,
get
man.
through if you have the right support system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one.
It's all about the guys too. Like if you could pick your guys for your crew, the stress isn't going to be as much as it would be if like, hey, you're going to be pushing a detail crew. These are the guys that you got. You
Yeah,
don't
because
know
you
them.
ain't
You
got to
don't know
go
them
through the
from the
getting to
next one.
know them. Yeah, like you got to get to know the
Yeah,
guys at that point, which isn't like a huge deal as long as you ain't got a bad apple, you know.
takes
But
one. That's all it takes.
and sometimes that bad apple's only bad because he's dealing with some shit. So you still need to not be an asshole. And
Yep,
I'm
full circle comes back to yep.
Yeah, for sure. And like, here's the thing: like, there's a lot of people that know us that's gonna look at this video and be like, "Dude, don't give me that bullshit." Like, I remember how you were,
Yeah, exactly.
so I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all, I get it. Yes, and I'm not denying it one bit. I used to be one to just snap and scream, you know, and I was going through some shit. It's getting better now, you know. So like, it took me realizing that and losing friendships and or even worse so, a subject that nobody wants to talk about is actually losing friends, completely losing them.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've all dealt with it to some extent. If you haven't, you're blessed. But like I've had a lot of friends that they definitely did follow through on the negative thoughts, is what I'll say. And like whether it be from overdose
Yep.
or
The devil won.
or just straight up taking it, you know. So it sucks.
Yeah.
So you just gotta weigh all that in. I wish there was something that we could like do right now, and I know we're still coming up with this and trying to build the channel and get the word out and everything, but we're going to be working on it for sure. You know, I want there to be something that's a little bit more readily available, something that people can in the trade, in any trade, doesn't have to just be ironworking. You know, um,
Yeah.
just it's more readily available. It's user friendly. Like you just do it, you get your help. You know what I mean? And it shouldn't have to cost a damn arm and a leg to do it. Because in the financial stuff, I mean, that causes just as much damn depression as anything else can. You know, like we've
Oh
all
yeah.
been there. So,
Yeah. Are you gonna, continue to go in debt, but your family's fed? Are you gonna miss a house payment, but your family's fed? Or are you gonna cut down on groceries to make your house payment? Yeah, dude, it's. I mean, we can beat a dead horse, right? It's all everybody's own perspective and whatever they have going on in their house in their lives. But the thing, it's like when you get down to it, everybody goes through it, no matter what, and no matter the scale. Well, so like some guys might be on the verge of losing their house, and other guys feel like they're losing everything because they missed a car payment, or they're you only have $150 for groceries this week instead of 300. Like there's it's all on a different scale, and that's another thing that talking about what one of your other guys is going through. Like, so someone else's crisis might not be your crisis on your level. You know what I mean? So be tough, but don't be an asshole, right? That's
you know, I think that'd be pretty sweet because like that is what you got to do. You know, and I'm gonna use some of my family. You know, that's really everybody in my family for the most part that's pushed in work. Like they've been through all the steps of it. You know, like they've done the I'm a rough, tough iron worker, and there was substance abuse problems for the most part. You know, not all of them, but most of us have dealt with something. You know, and then like my family and iron work now, they're some of the toughest people I know, but they're not assholes about it. And that's really where my realization came from. You know, and once you can get to that level, man, like that's when you really start helping people. Because
oh yeah, for sure.
people that are in need are going to see that more so than a guy that's in his I'm a Billy Badass stage. You know,
Agreed.
he's just going to be an asshole. So that's really where it matters, though. Is like the guy that is in that spot where he's like just questioning everything, questioning his existence. He's going to see the guy that's leading. He's going to see the guy that's tough, that's not unfazed, but handles it extremely well and makes the good choices and is still able to be cool and able to talk to. You know, that's the one that the people in need are going to see the most. And it's the most
Oh yeah, I agree.
important thing you can do. Because you don't even, that's the beautiful thing about that is if you're able to uphold that, I mean, you don't even have to know anything about what they've got going on in their life. Just simply them seeing what things could be would be enough for them to not even mention a single problem they're dealing with. Just you being that way pulls them out of whatever they're in. You know,
Yeah,
in a perfect world, that would work every time. But those people are also willing to talk. You know what I mean? Like
at the right time.
if they, well, I'm talking about like the leaders. Like if you've got that mentality, they're not going to be like, oh, well, you pussy. Like that's not how it. Like they've got that mentality for a reason. It's because they've done been through that. They made it through. Just talk to them. It doesn't have to be in the morning meeting. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be at the bar. It doesn't have to be anywhere significant. It could just simply be, hey man, like in the parking lot. Like, can I talk to you for just a minute? And and that be it. just keep
Yep.
this between us, but I just need to get something up off of me. Like don't judge.
I feel like it's the quiet leaders that actually get through to some people that don't really um, feel like they can talk to anybody else.
Hmm.
The guys that have all their shit together, it's not necessarily a scream and show strength, right? And lead by example, even though they are, it's more of a calm demeanor, um, words and actions hold a lot of water kind of leader that he's in there with you guys, but those are the ones that kind of I feel personally I feel more comfortable talking to or opening up with if need be, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I agree. When you're a what you could say a quiet leader, like I know for me that looks like that dude has wisdom. It just looks
yeah,
like wisdom, you
that's
know.
the word.
So
That is the word.
when you have that type of wisdom, and you have the wisdom comes from experience, like wisdom's not something you can just read in a book and have, you know.
Nope.
And empathy is also not something that you can read in a book and just have either. Like that all comes from going through it, and all it took was one person to show them what that stuff was through action, and that's all it took. So, like, it was a big deal for me when it came to stuff like that because I was the world's worst and I won't talk to people, you know. But then I started opening up about these things, and there's things that you can only talk to certain people about, you
Yeah.
know. You you can't just go talk to your grandmother about, you know what I mean? Like, hey,
Yeah.
mama, I done an 8 ball like real fast, and it's really screwing with me because like it didn't even mess me up, you know, and I'm spending all this money on it, but I can't quit it even though it's not really getting me as high anymore. You know, now I'm getting depressed and like I can't quit because I feel like I'm, like whatever the case may be, like it ain't. I'm just kind of using that, but like you can't go talk
No,
to
yeah, I
certain
I
people,
understand.
you know. So that is what makes it imperative for people in the trade, especially if you've dealt with it, to be that relatable fucking source.
Absolutely.
If we're all standing there tattooed up with hard hats on and smoking cigarettes and stuff, and naturally there's going to be a sense of comfort somewhere in there as long as you know that it's there. And most of the time, the people you need to talk to are in that same exact crowd, man, because they've been through all the stages. So not
Yep.
only does it come from read the room and like know who you're working with and know like kind of get to know them on the point of like the empathetic person that's trying to help. That also goes for the people that are looking for the help.
Yes.
Same rule applies. Like read the room. Like look for that leader. Look for that guy. Which one on the job is able to have the respect of his men and they go to the ends of the earth for him. Then he never even has to raise his voice. Like he never has to scream and holler. You know, that the vibe is good. Like who is that guy? That's probably a good start, you know.
Yep. I agree.
So as for the people that, I know we're all about real and raw on this channel. So for anybody watching, like if you're one of those guys, and I've been that guy before, dude. Like I've been that guy where like fuck you, suck it up, be a man. Like I wish I'd have never been that guy, but for all y'all listening, fuck off of that shit. For real. It doesn't make you look tough, especially at this point in my life. Like I ain't got nothing left to prove to nobody. I'm just trying to be the best father I can be to my kids and stuff, and just try to grow as a person and get better as a leadership and ironwork. So The tough guy shit's not intimidating, man. Like it's just irritating, and that costs people's lives. So
Yeah, it's not. We're all trying to put food on each other's table, right? If I'm eating, I'm taking my partner with me, and he's gonna eat too. So it's all about feeding your brother and making sure that everybody gets to work every day and makes it through the day. But I mean, like you said, it's you can be tough, but don't be an asshole. That's in the simplest of terms. That's all it is. Um, lean on the guy next to you. If you can't talk to your partner, maybe there's another guy in your crew that you feel close to that you talk to at break or at lunch, or maybe it is your foreman, or maybe it's the foreman, on the next crew over. You see all them having a good time, laughing, joking, whatever, but they're getting shit done. Maybe talk to the guys in the crew, and there's besides us, there's other resources out there, like you mentioned, like BetterHelp. Um, I'll try and get I didn't find a phone number or anything like that, but we can go to betterhelp.com and all the resources are right there. Um,
easiest way for better health is just download the app. I mean, everybody has a smartphone these
yeah,
days.
okay,
Just download the app. I mean, we could even put it in the description below and stuff or whatever.
yeah,
Um,
I'll drop it in the description or put a blip up on the screen.
but yeah, I mean, that's the easiest way to go about it. It just guides you right through everything you do. And I mean, it's not a miracle fix, but it definitely points you in the right direction. As long as you're serious about it. Like, don't go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to get my head straight, but I'm still not going to have to get rid of my habit. No, you're definitely going to have to do that. Like, you got to be willing
You
to, like, make these changes.
you got to be willing to be honest and truthful with yourself. And I
Yeah,
think
that's
that's
the
a
hard one.
hard thing for a lot of people to wrap their heads around.
Yeah, because if you're not telling them the truth, you ain't going to get your help. Like, they're not going to judge you,
No,
you know? They're going to help you through it. That's why they ask you these questions, you know?
deep, thought provoking questions.
Oh, dude, questions that'll make you be like, wow, like, how in the hell did you even put that together? You know,
Yeah, that's their
really,
job.
yeah, and they're good at it.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, for anybody out there, man, for real, don't wait. It don't get better. Not without treatment, not without some, and it doesn't always have to come to medication. Maybe it is just therapy, but you got to try something. So, now I don't
yeah.
know, like, what other points you kind of wanted to cover in this, but
That's it, dude. You touched on it, and you know, kind of getting up into the upswing of things, getting clean, getting clear, and climbing out of that dark hole that you had. I think we'll wrap that up in the next segment. Just we're out here, guys. I mean, you can get a hold of us, team at beamwalks and bartalks.com. You can send us a message on Instagram. We're here for you. Um, we'll message you back. We'll give you a phone number if you need it. Whatever help you guys need. That's what we're out here doing. We're trying to be raw, real, um, authentic, right? We, me and Skyler have been there where we've had a buddy of ours, take his life on the job, and that's if we can help somebody on any job anywhere, we want to be that light for you. It sucks, and we got a career of it still. And the new guys coming in, you guys got a career of it still. Watch out for your buddies. Watch out for your punk class. Watch out for the guys that you came up with. The new guys that you're coming into new jobs with. Just keep an eye out. There'll be signs. Maybe they're spaced out for a day or two. Maybe they laid out for a couple of days, and it's not usually like them to do that. There'll be signs, and sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, they really good at hiding it. Skyler did that to me, and he was my roommate. But um, on that note, Local 25 had a journeyman iron worker get into a pretty bad car wreck. Dom Sicoli. We're doing a knife raffle for him. We have 100 spots, $10 a spot. It's a pretty cool knife. I'll post it up on here. The knife is made by another ironworker hand, Pete Bucaletto. All proceeds from the knife raffle are going to go right to Dom Sicoli and his family to help out with bills and to help out with medical expenses or whatever he needs. Justin Horvath's going to do this drawing. He's the Downriver BA candidate. We just did nominations on Monday, so we should have a nominations list coming out here pretty soon. I'll also post Justin's Instagram so you guys can get a hold of him and get into that if you would like. That's all I got for tonight, dude. Shoot us a message. Follow us. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're on YouTube. Beamwalks and Bar Talks podcast. Until next time, Skyler, dude, always a pleasure.
Always, buddy.
Get some sleep. You look tired as fuck.
I'm about to crash.